Alrighty, welcome back everybody to the live stream channel of the YouTube presentation that we have here. It's good to be back doing live streams once again, and of course, it wouldn't be one of these without my good friend David. Welcome back, my friend. How are you doing as we head into the season beginning of this incredible championship? The World Endurance Championship is back. That's what I'm trying to say as we get going for the Qatar 1812 kilometer in just a few days.
Yeah, Jonah. Oh, you're too kind, by the way. But uh, I'm buzzing. I mean, I said this many times when we did the Daytona live streams that it's almost like Christmas, and this is really big event, and it's the same here. It's the second time we are here at Qatar, and it's the season opener for WEC. Really, we are ready and ready set go, and we see Aston Martin for the first time, and there's so many things that are new this year, like qualifying for the GT3s and new cars and new panels on the cars for who's leading and what play. There's so many new things, and I'm just excited to get going with racing. We have had enough practice. We just had practice today and prologue and all that. I want racing, and it's coming, and it's great.
Yeah, I completely echo your words here, David, and I think that we're in for an incredible season with an incredible race to start off what is going to be an epic year of racing. But yeah, welcome everybody who's joined for this live stream or replay format. Today we're going to be covering our season predictions for the WEC Manufacturers Championship of the Hypercar class. We will also be going into other types of predictions, like bold predictions, and also we'll throw in our Qatar top three. So that's for the upcoming Qatar 1812 kilometer race. But yeah, let's get into it. So I think first we should talk about the season itself. I think that's something that we should definitely touch on before we get into our WEC manufacturers predictions. And by the way, just before we get into it, viewers, while we're doing our predictions, it is very awesome to have you all put your predictions in the comments below. We would love to hear what you think for the manufacturers' predictions, the standings predictions, when it comes to Hypercar, LMGT3, whatever it may be. Comment down below your thoughts, and we'll try and respond and read off of those as best as possible. But David, let's begin by talking about this upcoming season. We are heading into another fantastic year of racing. I think we say it every year, but I think this one is going to be better than ever before. We have 13 car manufacturers on the grid. Among them is Mercedes, who is joining LMGT3 for the very first time. Viewers, if you didn't check out the most recent video from the channel, definitely go do that, as that covers the Mercedes AMG GT3, the new car that's joining. But David, how excited are you for the season? You pointed out that it's like a Christmas for racing, but with 13 car manufacturers, what can we expect from the first race in Qatar? And just give us your general thoughts.
Well, of course, I mean, it's 13 manufacturers, but it's still, I mean, we have one really new car in the Aston Martin, and the others are tested and working cars. It's not like we see in Formula One, where it's a new season, it's new cars, and everything can break down.
Right.
Of course, there will be a lot of that. It will be the first race of the season, and we'll have to start get going and all those things again. But I expect a highly competitive season. We have a new top runner in the hypercar field, which is BMW out of nowhere. There's just been on the pace, and we saw it in IMSA in the at Daytona that they were fighting for victory, and it seems as though that what they did in at Daytona they can also do at Qatar. So the pace is there, and maybe another contender for the World Championships. Last time it was really just between Ferrari, Porsche, and Toyota, and I expect those teams to be great as well. But this year, there are some newcomers. There is new contenders for that championship, and BMW is one of them. Cadillac, new team, Toyota, have already shown that the pace is there. Can they finally break the curse of Cadillac and WEC and get a good result? Um, I hope so. So I expect it to be more competitive than last year, and different winners, even though last year we saw so many different winners, but this year even more. And I expect all these new things with the panels. And also, just to mention, Hypercar, we have two cars for every single team now, no
Right.
longer just a one car team. So there's more cars, and they are all really top teams. So excited and just ready to get going, honestly, Jonah.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, and it is going to be an epic season. I mean, in 2021 and 2022, when the hypercar class was kind of just starting, of course, we only had Toyota battling for the championship. They were the only big manufacturer in the field. Alpine, of course, was there, but that was an LMP1. 2023, it was basically Toyota that dominated, and in 2024, a little bit closer than in the past. But I think 2025, like you mentioned, we have BMW, who seems to have a very strong car heading into the season. As you mentioned, Daytona was a great example of that. So far, they've looked very strong. They have a new driver in Kevin Magnussen joining the field as well, who's, of course, a very experienced racer. Think back to his Formula One days. He's experienced in endurance racing as well, and other forms of competition. But the fact is that there are many contenders on the grid that can fight for this title. And as we will explain, I think it's going to be a little bit of an unknown in terms of where we are. You also mentioned Cadillac, Hertz Team Jota coming into this. This is a new era for the American manufacturer. So they're also going to be up there, I think. And I also believe that Alpine are going to be strong. We saw at Fuji that they have the performance to get that A424 onto the podium. They have a strong driver lineup as well. You have Frederick Makovicky, who's from Porsche, coming over to as a full-time driver for the Alpine endurance team. Mick Schumacher staying on. You got drivers like Jules Gounon, who's, of course, a very experienced racer. He's joining full-time with the Alpine crew. So I think they're going to be up there as well. So there's a lot to look forward to. And I mean, we also have LMGT3, which is going to be even more competitive than 2024. That first year was always kind of going to be like a learning year for a lot of these brands, even though the cars have been racing for quite some time across other forms of competition. The fact is that this season, I think we're going to get a little bit of a mixed results. It could be unknown. And to me, when I think of LMGT3 for 2025, I kind of see it as like the LMP2 of IMSA. And what I mean by that, viewers, is that LMP2 in IMSA has always been the biggest unknown in terms of who's going to finish where. We said this at Daytona when the IMSA season got underway, that LMP2 was going to be very just up in the air in terms of who's going to win. And I feel that LMGT3 is going to be the same way. Of course, it's not a prototype class, but the field is so close and the teams are so competitive. And I think we're just going to get an epic season. You have Iron Dames back with Porsche, a partnership that, of course, has brought a lot of success to both organizations. You have United Autosports coming back with McLaren, TF Sport, Akotis ASP looking really strong with their Lexus. We'll talk about them in a little bit. And then of course we have Iron Lynx, brand new Mercedes of theirs, of course. I mean, the car has been racing for quite some time in other forms of competition, but this is a new era for both brands as well. And I think that they're going to be strong right off the bat. I think they're going to be really strong. So a lot to look forward to in this season. And David, you touched on it as well, that this season there is a few little changes that we should point out. One of which is those green number panels being added to the LMGT3 field. Viewers, if you're familiar with 2024, you remember that the GT cars had orange number panels. This year it's different. They're all green. The last time this was the case was in GTE Pro back in 2022. That was the last time we saw the green number panels. So yeah, I think it just kind of revitalizes the LMGT3 class and gives us a nice indication of what's to come. So yeah, there's a lot to look forward to in 2025, and it's all going to begin with the big race, the second big race of the WEC, the Qatar 1812 kilometer.
Yeah, it's the second longest, if I'm not wrong. It's 10
Mm-hmm.
hours normally. But yeah, I also just wanted to touch on updates. I mean, we saw the new we're going to see a new qualifying system.
Oh, I think something happened with the audio for David. He's frozen on my screen. David, I don't know if you can hear us, but you're frozen on my screen. You might have to rejoin or something, but give me a moment while I sort that out. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna try and get David back in here. I think he lagged out or something like that. Sometimes there's technical issues, viewers. It's okay though. We'll get him back. One moment. Sometimes what usually happens when someone has a lag issue or something like that, it usually takes me a moment because I have to re-invite them to the thing. But yeah, that usually takes a moment for the other person to join. David's probably trying to rejoin right now, or something else happened like power or something. But one moment. Might have to restart the connection. Give us a moment here, viewers. Sorry about that. I gotta try and get David back in here, and then we will get going once again. So quick little intermission, I guess, in some way. Like I said, though, I gotta re-invite David in, and then we should be able to join. Let's see here. In the future, I might try and use a different platform for live streaming because sometimes there is technical issues with this one, and unfortunately, it does cut out a host or whatever, and so I want to make sure that we don't have any further technical issues. So in the future, I might switch to something else. I'm also in the process of moving. As you can see behind me, there's no painting, so it's taking me a moment to kind of get things up to speed in terms of live streaming and all that sort of thing. I believe David is going to try and rejoin the stream here and see if he's able to do that. If not, we can try and restart, but hopefully we can get him back in. Again, give us just a moment here, viewers. Sorry for the delay. Okay, one moment. I know I keep saying one moment, but it is truly just just a moment here. Also, I wanted to point out, I would like to do this when David's here, but since we have it just a second, but on the right-hand side of your screen, you can see that we have a Qatar 1812 kilometer poster here that I made. And it has the two BMWs out on screen, and that just kind of is an indication to show that maybe BMW are going to be fighting for success here at Qatar. As we'll go into our predictions for the event for the season ahead, we'll definitely look into doing that. But yeah, okay. Let me see. I'm gonna give David a quick text here and see if he's able to rejoin. Hopefully we don't have to, but we may have to restart the stream. I know, viewers, I don't want to, but I want to make sure that we have our live stream co-host here. We don't want to forget David here. Let's see if we can get him in, though. Let's see here. Like I said, this app that I'm using kind of is unreliable at times, and I may try and do something in the future, but let's see here. I'll give it a minute or so, and then if it's still a problem, we might have to restart, but I'm hoping not. We'll see. I'm hoping not. Oh, there we go. Okay. There we go. I think I have David back in. There we go. I think. There
What
we
about
go.
now?
You're here now.
Oh,
Okay. I think we're good.
great. Oh man. Yeah, it was the internet connection for me that I needed to change the whole internet. So,
Dang.
um,
Well, you're back.
we're
So,
back. Well, but we'll fix it for the future.
well, we
Yes.
we got you
So,
back.
where were we? I was talking about qualifying for GT3, I think.
Yes.
Um,
Do you want to
if I don't, yeah,
take over from there?
yeah. So, yeah. Of course, we're used to in GT3 that the bronze driver for every team did the whole qualifying, also Hyperpole. But now the bronze driver will do all the qualifying up until Hyperpole. And then when Hyperpole starts, the silver driver will have to step in and put his laps in. So it will change the dynamic. It will change how the grid lineup is, and it will definitely be confusing and difficult for drivers to adapt to. Um, we know there's normally a big split in who's performing. Like some will have really great bronze drivers, but um, and some will not, and that could have a huge effect on where it will start in the race. But this will maybe change that up a bit. So yeah, excited to see how that goes. We have the new panels. I mean, we talked about the green number plates, but we also have panels now. We're used to lights in WEC. For
Right.
people watching IMSA, it's nothing new. But for the WEC fans only, we are used to small light bulbs showing which position they're in, and now we have a panel that's showing all kinds of different stuff. Something to get used to. Um, but yeah, so many new factors in the season, and we're starting off with a long race, so we have 10 hours to get used to it. Plus, it was last year we saw a great race where a lot of drama, a lot of things happened, and like we thought we had a view of Toyota. Oh my, they're not fast, and then the next race they won. So um, it's a great starter for a season. It's long, it's tough, it's hot, it's difficult, and will show a lot of things of how we'll see racing at Le Mans be. Um, so yeah, really interested in how this is going to end up finishing, but also just excited to see all the new things and how they will unfold and qualifying and all those things.
For sure. Yeah, I completely agree with you, David, and I think that we're gonna be we're gonna be it's gonna be an amazing season. I mean, Qatar will start off things, and like you said, I mean, Toyota was kind of nowhere in Qatar, I guess you could say that, and then they were winning in Imola. It was a completely different story, and I think that that's what's going to be great about 2025 is we're going to see more of that. We're going to see more unpredictability, different winners, different podium sitters, different things happening, and that's what we want to see. Also, David, during the last section you were talking, I think your voice was a little bit delayed or something like that. So, but hopefully it's all fixed now. But I just wanted to point that out. Hopefully it's all good. But I guess we will move on to our next segment. Of course, we have the Qatar 1812 kilometer coming up. Oh, actually, before we do that, David, we should probably talk about when this event is going to be happening. The Qatar 1812 kilometer, it's set to happen on a Friday. No, not a weekend. It's happening on a Friday, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it's quite weird, and I don't know. Was it last year? I think it was Saturday or Sunday last year. Um,
I
but
think it was
yeah, of
Sunday.
course, we used to racing on Sunday and then qualifying on, yeah, we used to racing on Sunday and qualifying on Saturday. But Qatar changed it up, and for me, it actually is really annoying because I can't watch the race then. I will not be able to do that, um, but yeah, they changed up. Jonah, do you know why actually?
Why they changed the time for the event? Yeah, so
Mm.
I think that it was because of the festival that's going on I think it's the I can't remember exactly the holiday, but I have to remember the holiday, but I think it's happening this weekend, and so they had to change the time of the event. Someone can let me know in the comments exactly what festival it is, or what holiday it is. My bad. But I believe that instead, because for me, it was going to be at 12 a.m., so middle of the night for me. And then now it's been changed to 3 a.m. in the morning. And so, like, for me, I'm not going to be able to watch live really. And that's unfortunately one of the reasons why we won't be doing a watch along this time out for this time out for the racing. I was planning on doing a watch along, but unfortunately wasn't able to do it, of course, because of the time. David is not available either, but hopefully we'll be back for Imola. David, on my screen, you're frozen right now. Hopefully that connects. It looks like there's some internet issues or something like that, but maybe if you can hear me, maybe try and reconnect. I think David's gonna reconnect. A little bit of internet issues. Yeah, but oh, there we go. Okay, hold on a second. Let me get him back in. There we go. Okay, you're back.
Oh, good. I just yeah, lost connection again. I changed the Wi-Fi now, so maybe this works better.
Yeah, this is much better. We can see you and everything's synced up.
Yeah, I just saw a comment Ramadan.
Ramadan. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, makes sense. Um, okay, yeah, of course. Well, then it makes sense. It's just annoying for for racing fans, but of course things are like things are. So, but yeah, we have great racing on Friday instead. I
We
mean,
do.
it won't change the race how epic it's going to be. It's just if I'm able to watch it or not. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
what about you, Jonah? You are available to watch it, right?
Well,
Or you-
so it's going to be 3 a.m. in the morning for me. And that's going to be, I'm going to be available to watch it, but I'm going to have to wake up super early in the morning to be able to do it. I might have to like catch a few of it. Like I might have to get a little bit of sleep at one point or like go to sleep early or something. Like I mentioned a moment ago, that's one of the reasons why we aren't doing a watch along because of how early it is in the morning. And of course, we'd like to do it, but I mean, for me, 3 a.m. in the morning doing a live stream is just is hard. I got neighbors as well, and I don't want to wake them up or something. But
Mm.
yeah, so I think that it's understandable why it is, but it does affect some of us, like myself and you know, in terms of the time. But yeah, we have the race happening at 2 p.m. local time on Friday, February 28th. So the final day of February, that is when the Qatar 1812 kilometer will happen. David, you also mentioned just a moment ago that the race is 10 hours long. That can be confusing to some fans because it's Qatar 1812 kilometer. It doesn't really show it's not really a clear date, like a clear amount of time, but for a fact it is 10 hours long, 335 laps, if I'm not mistaken. And in other words, viewers, it is about the same length of the Motul Petit Le Mans, so the season ending event of IMSA. But yeah, there's a lot of factors to keep in mind there. But anyway, I think we should probably move on to our next segment because that's the focus of this video, our WEC predictions. And I'll quickly repeat what I said at the start of this video just so we're kind of aware of, we're kind of caught up, I guess, of everything. So welcome everybody that has joined so far. We are going to be covering our bold predictions, our Qatar 1812 kilometer predictions, and of course the main subject of this video or live stream, whatever you're watching, the WEC manufacturer's predictions for the hypercar class. We will begin with that. And viewers, let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win the championship, who you think is going to win this race, and just all your predictions in the comments. Please let us know. Joining me for this prediction rundown is my live stream co-host David. We are going to be covering basically everything when it comes to the predictions. We'll start off with our manufacturer's predictions for this upcoming season. Here's the graphic right here. So, David, we're going to be going up through the order. So, we're going to be going from 8th to 1st. David, you'll start with yours, and then I'll go into mine. You'll start, I guess, with number 8. Then I'll do my number 8, and then we'll go up like that. Viewers, again, please let us know your comments below on the predictions. But David, what do you think? Who is going to finish 8th in the Manufacturers Championship? This is stone dead last, by the way, viewers.
Yeah, I mean, last year was pretty easy to predict that it was gonna be Soda and Foschini
Mm-hmm.
because, I mean, first of all, they didn't finish the season, so it was quite easy to put them there without hurting anyone as well. This year, I'm gonna put a team that has actually been with Hypercar for a long time, but never got it to work, and it's Peugeot. Um, they have never like really been able to make that car work and have pace. Of course, they have been actually last time around here at Qatar showing really great race pace and actually fighting for a podium finish. But in classic Peugeot style for this hypercar program, they hit a problem. They made a mistake with the fueling, so they didn't finish the race. So there's just too many times where has either looked really shit. Sorry for the language, but really, really bad. Um, and or they have had the pace but never been able to get the result. So
Yep.
I feel like that's gonna be their season. Like there's so many other teams that have improved and fixed their problems, but Peugeot haven't. So I'm hoping I'm not right with this prediction because I like the team and I like the car, but unfortunately they're gonna finish last for me.
Alrighty, well, thank you for setting your prediction, David. He's predicted Peugeot to finish in 8th. For me, I have predicted Aston Martin to finish in 8th in the championship. This is a new manufacturer. We expect them to be towards the bottom of the field. They're not going to be fighting for wins instantly. I mean, at least we think. They're not going to be getting first in the championship and beating the likes of Toyota, who have been here since the very start of the modern WEC, ever since it was established in 2012. That Valkyrie AMR LMH is a brand new car. It's going to take some time for Aston Martin to kind of get to grips with it. Like all new manufacturers, it's going to take maybe 3 to 4 races for Aston Martin to kind of go like, okay, we understand where this car is at. We understand the issues. We understand the positives, all that sort of thing. But I think that in general, this year is only going to be a learning year for the British marque, and I believe that they're going to finish in 8th. Not much more to say about that. So we'll move on to our 7th place predictions in the manufacturer standings. And by the way, folks are saying Peugeot, Aston Martin for 8th in the championship. So that's what we're reading from the live stream. But David, what do you think about the 7th place in the hypercar class? Who do you think is going to be finishing there?
Yeah, so I put a little bit more faith in the Aston Martin team because I put them seventh. And I will talk about them once again later. But yeah, I put them. I think they will have a stronger season than we have seen from other new teams. I mean, just wanted to let know that Alpine last year also completely new team, and they
Right.
finished on the podium. So it's not set in stone that just because you're a new team, but I see where you're coming from. Also putting them seventh, I don't really have the greatest expectations from results wise. I think I'm interesting to see how a non-hybrid car in the hypercar era works because what we have seen so far with systems that are non-hybrid, they have lost out more than they have gained in terms of pace. So I'm interested to see if they can make it work. But but yeah, I think that beautiful V12 sound will get some points this year and at least finish ahead of Peugeot.
I like that prediction a lot, and I think that it's very possible that could happen. You know, the Valkyrie AMR LMH is definitely a different car compared to all the new other entries that have joined. You know, compared to last year, we had 4 new brands. Aston Martin's the only new brand to join Hypercar this year. But they've been testing this car for quite some time, and there's a real possibility that they could show up and deliver some strong results. So I could definitely see this prediction happening. Well, for 7th, I've kind of gone the opposite, but we're still on the same kind of manufacturer here. For 7th, I've gone for Peugeot. Um, you predicted them to finish in eighth, David. I'm predicting them to finish in seventh, just ahead of Aston Martin. Um, as you mentioned before in the last segment we just covered, Peugeot, they are a manufacturer that's kind of like an unknown. You know, we don't really know where they're going to be. They've had struggles with their 9X8 hypercar. Of course, I would love to see them finish higher up in the championship. This is a brand that, of course, took on the likes of Audi, won Le Mans in 2009, and even before that in the 90s with that beautiful 905. And I would love to see them up there, but right now I just see other manufacturers performing just a tiny bit better. And like I said as well in the past, this championship is going to be so close. You know, I mean, I think we're going to be seeing points differences, like in terms of like 5 to 6 points separating certain brands in this list. So even if Peugeot finished in seventh, that doesn't mean, or eighth, depending on which prediction you favor, it doesn't mean that they aren't going to achieve a big result. It's possible they could achieve one or two big results. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, Peugeot finishing seventh is where I've put them. Viewers, let us know your predictions, of course, as we continue on with our predictions here. Put them down in the comments below. But let's move on to our next set of predictions. David, who do you think is going to finish sixth in the manufacturer standings?
Well, this is a theme. I mean, from now on, in all honesty, they could change places. Top six for me could be all different, because so like Peugeot and Aston Martin are without a doubt the back markers this year, in my opinion, and then the rest can win races and finish consistently and actually fight for the championship. So in sixth, I put Alpine. I think they are the worst of the greatest teams. Of course, with the podium last year. The podium, yeah, I
Yeah,
think it was
podium.
only a podium, right? Um, Alpine, having showed that they can fight with the best, but they also double disqualified from Le Mans, which was a huge loss for them. Not didn't finish Le Mans at all, and they had in general lacks of paces. Sometimes it was like Cadillac, where the car was good, but they had problems, and sometimes they were just off the pace for no reason. So Alpine in sixth for me. Yeah.
I think we agree on that as well because I'm also putting Alpine in sixth here. I think that you said it perfectly, David. Alpine, they have strong pace, they have the performance. I think it's just about getting those results on a consistent basis. You know, I think that's the problem with Alpine, at least for me, is that they are a competitive manufacturer. They have a very solid team, very solid drivers, a competitive car, as we've proved. But the thing for me is that it seems like the consistency isn't there. I'm hoping that is there in 2025 though, because what they need is like they need points finishes with both cars in every single race. That's kind of like what they need to fight with the top three or fight with the other manufacturers. But like David pointed out, like myself pointed out, the top six is really, really close. You know, in our opinions, it's definitely going to be really close. But David and I both predict that Alpine will finish sixth in the manufacturer standings. A lot of folks are saying Alpine also in sixth, or Alpine in the top five. So it could go either way, really. But this is, I think, where it gets a little bit more interesting. The top five, you know, this could really go kind of either way. And I think this is a good point to move over to our top five in the manufacturer standings. And I believe, as I'm looking at just preparing this graphic here, David, you have gone for something different, and I have gone for something different. So, who do you think is going to finish in fifth in the manufacturer standings?
Well, I think they're gonna break the curse just because I believe in Jota. So yeah, I put Cadillac in fifth place. Um, but yeah, I believe that they're gonna be competitive again. Just the top five, the top six is just crazy close. But Cadillac for me is in fifth. Um, I think Jota will, of course, they already showed with practice and the prologue how great, how much pace they actually have. But we need to remember this is a new car. Jota, being a great team, um, of course winning Spa last year and really being a well-oiled team that knows how to win races and be competitive throughout the season in WEC. Also, have to now put on to adapt a new car and adapt new drivers and still break the curse of Cadillac in the WEC. I think because it's Jota now, that will happen automatically. Um, but yeah, Cadillac will get wins. I think they'll get wins, but only for fifth place.
Alrighty. Well, good prediction there, David. I think it's definitely possible that Cadillac could finish in fifth. Um, but for me, I'm just going to point this out here because it's the facts. I don't predict Cadillac to finish in fifth. I predict them to finish a little higher up. And the manufacturer that I've chosen to finish in the top five, or at least in fifth place, is BMW. The reason why I've put BMW there is because I think they're going to be extremely fast, but I think that the top four manufacturers are going to be just a little bit faster. And I think this is a perfect point to mention that this is where I see the points being separated by just a few points, like 5, 6 points. And I think between between fourth, fifth, and sixth, I think the gap is going to be just a few points. And that's why this championship is going to be so competitive. This is where BMW finished last year in 2024 with the two M hybrid V8s. And I believe that they're going to finish there once again. Now, I believe that they are going to be faster and they're going to have better results than in 2024. But like I said before, I think the other four manufacturers are just going to be that tiny bit better. So, not much more to say, but this is where I've put BMW on my manufacturers list. So, moving on to the top four, David, I'll hand things back over to you. Who do you think is going to finish in fourth?
Well, for me, top four is it's just hard. But I put Ferrari. I think Ferrari is a great. I mean, they've shown for the first real competitive year of the WEC in 2023, where it was Ferrari fighting with Toyota. Last year they won Le Mans. They fought with Porsche and Toyota, finished third. Um, this year they will take a knockback, but the results will still be great. They will still be fighting with those teams. I just think that the competition from around them and the fact that they will have to have two cars. This is for all the teams, but it's two cars for every team now, and that brings another dimension of having to be consistent with both cars to win championships. You
Right.
can't just win the race and have another car finish in the back of the grid or retire. And I think that will be a really deciding factor for this championship. So I think Ferrari will still probably win a lot of races or be competitive, but I don't think they'll be as competitive as the top two, at least. My third place is a bit iffy. To be honest, I'm just surprised by them. But Ferrari in fourth place for me, yeah. But again, could change easily.
Yeah, and I think this is how close the Hypercar Championship is going to be in 2025. I think this is a perfect indication of why we think it's going to be so close. To see Ferrari, a manufacturer that is the defending winners of Le Mans in the Hypercar era on two separate occasions. Of course, they won in 2023 and 2024. To see them being placed fourth on your list, I think is bold, but I think is realistic. I think it's possible because that's how close this championship really is. It really could go either way, and I could very well see Ferrari or another manufacturer that was in the top three last year finishing just below. So that means that one brand that wasn't in the top three last year, at least on your list, David, is going to be breaking into the top three. We'll find that out in just a moment. But for me, I want to go over my fourth place because for me, I think that this manufacturer is going to be the star of the show in terms of the brands. I made a video on them trying to get into the top three, and I think I'm already hinting at who this brand is. It's Cadillac. Hertz Team Jota Cadillac. I believe that they are going to have one of the fastest cars on the grid. The V Series R has proven to be a competitive race car in the WEC and at Le Mans, and in IMSA as well. Of course, they've taken 4 overall victories in the GTP class. They got close to winning at Fuji last time out in the WEC. And of course, they got on the overall podium at Le Mans in 2023 and finished third and fourth in that race. So I believe that with Hertz Team Jota coming into this, I think the Cadillac's got a really strong chance of trying to fight the top 3 manufacturers. I don't believe they'll be able to finish ahead of them, at least on my list. But I believe that they're going to be fighting them on a consistent basis, and I think that Hertz Team Jota and Cadillac are going to be just a few points behind.
I mean, interesting take. I like the take. I of course put them in fifth, but easily swapped around again.
Right.
I like Jota a lot. I like I like the organization. I of course love delivery, but who doesn't? And um, I think they'll get them the absolute max out of that car. I'm really interesting to see because we've seen Cadillac have really good qualifying and testing pace and then not delivering in the race. And I'm interested to see if that is a problem that Cadillac will bring to Jota, or if Jota will actually cut that out. Um, but yeah, I hope to see it be competitive. But yeah, um, not top three, but just outside. And I think for me, Cadillac could also be looking like a top three team for most of the season, but not finishing in there.
I completely agree. Yeah, and yeah, we'll definitely see. I think you have a great take on that. I echo your words, and I think that it's definitely going to be really, really close. Oh, hold on a second. I think we just lost David. Not sure why that happened. Hold on a second. Let me get him back in. We also have a question for David in the comments below, but we will, once we get him back in, we'll be able to have him here. Okay, he's back. All right, you're back.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah, I'm back. So I believe we are for my third place now. Without cutting you off. Yeah, I hope I didn't do anything like that.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, I guess we'll go into our top three now. There's also a comment for you in the comments below that says, "Why does David think BMW will finish higher than Ferrari?" And I guess this is a good point to move into your next segment, and you can answer this and go into your next segment because I think you've predicted a pretty awesome prediction for your top three.
Yeah.
So who do you think is going to finish in third?
I think we're gonna see BMW finishing in third. For me, to answer the comment um, and also explain that, I think BMW are doing what Porsche did last year in finally figuring out how to get that car to be competitive. Um, and and for me, BMW surprised me a lot at Daytona. I know it's not the same team, and that's actually a positive because Team RLL, who runs the team in IMSA,
Right.
are a bit. It's a really new team, and a bit more green in a way than a team like Team WRT that are really well-oiled team, a lot like Jota and United Autosports also. So I think that's a positive to take into WEC instead of IMSA. And I think that what BMW showed, the car showed at Daytona was that it can be competitive over 24 hours, and that's a really important thing. Um, it can be competitive through different scenarios and different weather weather changes and all those things. So for me, that's a huge positive to put on BMW. Um, but yeah, um, BMW in third place. I think the top two is going to be the same as last year, of course. Let's see how I put them. But BMW, I think they'll fight with Ferrari a lot this year, and I think BMW will win a lot of races this year. I know I'm saying a lot of teams can win races because it's so competitive, but BMW for sure is going to be up there every single time this year.
I do like this prediction. I think BMW has got a strong chance of fighting the top three brands. A comment came in that said, I think BMW will fight for wins with the big three. I definitely agree. You know, I think BMW is a very competitive brand. I think Team WRT has got a lot of pace, as you mentioned before. They have some very exciting drivers joining that field as well. In the number 15 alone, you have Dries Vanthoor, who's proven to be so competitive. Of course, took pole position at Daytona. GT superstar Rafael Marciello. I think enough said about him. He's so competitive, such an amazing racer. And then, of course, Kevin Magnussen. Kevin Magnussen, of course, is a Formula One driver. He's the most recent driver to take part in Formula One. He's joining that team. The 20 car has Robin Freins, Rene Rast, and Sheldon van der Linde. I mean, this is one of the best driver lineups across the entire field. And I do believe that BMW has a very strong car to fight for wins. And I could definitely see your prediction, David, coming true. So with that, I'll move over to my third place, who I think is going to finish in third. And I feel like this is my boldest prediction of this entire standings. But and many of you will disagree with me, and this is something that I'm kind of like I'm unsure about. I'm unsure about doing this because I think that they're going to be competitive, but I'm putting last year's manufacturers champion Toyota in third in the manufacturers standings. And judging by your reaction, David, I think that you agree
That's
it's a bold
crazy.
prediction. Yeah, Toyota is the reigning manufacturers prediction, reigning manufacturers champion. Sorry. They have won every manufacturers championship in the hypercar class. So you may be thinking, Jonah, what are you doing? Why are you putting Toyota in third, a manufacturer that has dominated, to say the least, in the hypercar category, at least in the standings? But I believe that the top two brands, which I can comfortably say it's Ferrari and Porsche, are going to be a little bit more competitive, and I think that they're going to be able to get a lot of really great results on a consistent basis. I think Ferrari's going to turn up the heat, as I'll explain in just a moment. And I think Toyota, they're going to have a super competitive car once again. They're going to be the team to beat. They're going to be the manufacturer to beat. But I believe that they're going to just miss out on that manufacturer's championship. And I believe that they're going to not just lose out and finish second, but finish in third.
I mean, last year, I talked a lot about not forgetting about Toyota and how great a team they are.
Right.
Um, and I think, Jonah, you forgot that this is not the bold prediction segment, but this is just the manufacturer championship segment. Because wow, that's crazy. I mean, Toyota, of course, being there has never been a different winner than Toyota of the manufacturers championship for Hypercar. Never. Last year was really close. Um, but yeah, never been a different winner. So I'm I'm hoping for it. I would love to see a different winner. I would love to see Toyota being pushed down to third place, but man, that's a wild one. Um, yeah, just surprised, honestly.
Yeah, and honestly, reading back this and just kind of going through my mind, I kind of keep going back and forth and say, like, why did I put Toyota in third, and why did I
No,
not?
it could easily happen. It could
Yeah, it
easily
could.
happen. I mean, we've talked about it before. The competitive sense of this championship is just getting more and more, and the team stand Toyota is getting faster and faster, and Toyota seems to be struggling with it. So, um, but yeah, I could see it happening. I could also easily see Toyota just dominating, like we've seen before, and we talked the season up, and then Toyota just winning most of the races. I could see that happening as well. But yeah, hope I hope for your prediction, and I hope it's going to be as interesting as seeing Toyota finishing third.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really close. I mean, it's unknown where the championship's going to fit them, but I believe that Toyota's going to go into the final race as a championship favorite. I think it's going to be super super close, but I believe that they have the pace to fight for the championship. But I believe that they're going to finish just behind. And I know this is a bold prediction, but I just see it. I just see it happen. And I want Toyota to find success. I really want them to win again. I think it'd be really cool. But I'm taking a risk here. I'm taking a risk. So we're moving up to our top two. David, who do you think is going to finish in second?
Well, I tried last year to say Toyota wasn't going to win the championship. You did it again this year also, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to say it's Toyota second. I think they will finally not win the championship. Um, and by that, I can also say Porsche is going to finish first, in my opinion. I think more like I could talk a lot about how Toyota has been a really dominant team, but I think it's Porsche pulling ahead of them more than it's Toyota losing anything. Um, Toyota have showed for me when at least at Le Mans when they compete, the competitors get close, they lose results and they lose reliability because they have to push the car more. That's what's happening. Yeah, that's what's happening again. And I just see Toyota winning a lot of races and being really competitive, but Porsche pulling ahead of them, and thereby taking the championship, doing what they couldn't do last year, finishing that one place further. Because I think it's going to come down to the last race, and I think the top three, honestly, is top four, maybe even is going to come down to the last race. So yeah, Toyota second.
All right, I could definitely see that as well. I hope to see that. You know, I'd like to see Toyota find success, as I mentioned before. For second place in the championship for me, I've gone with Porsche. I believe that they're going to finish in second once again in the championship. As a Porsche Penske fan, I want to see them succeed as well. But I believe that they're not going to win the championship. So that means another bold prediction from me. And I think that right now we can pretty much reveal who's going to be first in our championships. You revealed already that it's going to be Porsche. And for me, I'm just going to go ahead and do it because I think Ferrari's going to win the championship in 2025. I think Ferrari has a seriously strong car, and I think that they can perform well, and I think they're going to do it. So this is our manufacturer's predictions. I don't think there's much more to say really, but I've predicted Ferrari to win the Constructors' Championship. David, you've predicted that Porsche will win the Constructors' Championship. And I just want to get your thoughts, because you already revealed this, but I want to get your thoughts on why you think Porsche is going to win the championship this time out. What makes you think that this German manufacturer is going to be on top this time around?
Well, last year they looked like the fastest car throughout the whole season. I think what what changed this year is Porsche having another year developing that car and getting it even faster. And when I can only talk about Daytona because that's the only race we've really seen this year with the cars this year.
Mm-hmm.
But even though Porsche wasn't the fastest car in that race, it was BMW, no doubt. They still won, and that's why Porsche is going to win this championship. That even when the car isn't performing to its most and winning races, they will still be fighting and they will still be up there even every time. So Porsche will get every bit of those small points, extra points here and there. Toyota will do the same, but Porsche will do it better, and that's just why it will come down to that more than it will come down to who wins most races. It will come down to who finishes second with their other car most, and third and fourth, and in those positions, it's really those positions that's really gonna decide this championship instead of who's winning all the races. Because of course, Porsche, it was a Porsche car winning the drivers' championship last year,
Right.
but they didn't win the manufacturers. So they'll have to put the package together, and I think they'll be able to do that this year, where the consistency of Toyota will still be there, but Porsche will finally have caught up with the number five car and will fight with the Toyotas as well, and pull ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, I could definitely see Porsche winning it. They have the pace as proven by Daytona this year, 2024, and the past. So I think that they could. I could very well see your prediction coming true. For me, I think another bold prediction for myself is that Ferrari are going to win the constructors. I believe that Ferrari has the pace to fight for the championship this year, more so than in 2024 and in 2023 before that. But I think the 499P is a competitive race car, as proven by Le Mans, as proven by Lone Star Le Mans as well, when the 83 car won that race. Ferrari were, I mean, okay, if you look at the 2024 championship, Ferrari had a very quick car, Qatar. Even though they were hit by the balance of performance in Imola, they had arguably the fastest car. If it wasn't for the rain, though, and all that situation with them, they probably would have won Imola as well. Spa, they had another quick car and would have likely won that race, because of the whole situation with that massive Cadillac crash. Ferrari didn't win. So the first three races, they could have easily won all three. Le Mans, they eventually won, of course. And then Brazil, a race they weren't really competitive at, so that wasn't a race for them. Lone Star Le Mans, they had the fastest car, eventually won, of course, first and third in that event. And then Fuji, another event where they weren't super competitive, and then finally Bahrain, somewhat competitive, and in the fight for the win as well with the 51 car. So in general, if you look at their results throughout the season, they had arguably the fastest car throughout the 2024 season. I believe that Porsche and Toyota also had a very competitive car, but Ferrari made too many mistakes. They had mistakes. I mean, if you look at Qatar, they had that penalty for the 50 car. The 51 had an issue with the back of the car when it fell off. Imola, a total mistake from Ferrari. Spa, a mistake as well. I mean, not pitting earlier on. So they just got unlucky and had mistakes and just situations that didn't go their way. If those mistakes didn't happen, Ferrari would have likely won the championship in 2024. And I feel that they're going to learn from those mistakes in 2024, and they're going to be able to go faster in 2025 and not make those mistakes. And I think that that's why I've put Ferrari in first, is because what I've just explained from the 2024 season and their determination, speed, and ultimately passion to win in endurance racing. So those are our manufacturers' predictions for the 2025 World Endurance Championship season in the Hypercar class. We're now going to move over to our bold predictions. Now, this is a segment that is new to this type of live stream format that we've done. What we're going to be doing is David and myself are both going to give one bold prediction for the season. As we've done in the manufacturer standings, we've already given a few bold predictions, but this one is one that we set out. Doesn't have to do with a position on the manufacturer's championship per se, but it just is a prediction that we think will happen. So, David, I'll go ahead and let you take the floor and tell us your bold prediction for the WEC season in 2025.
Well, Jonah, you came to me and asked me to do a bold prediction a couple of days ago, and I really had a hard time doing it. Um, Honestly, because I think some of them are way too unrealistic, and both predictions aren't really my thing. As I put Ferrari fourth and BMW third, I see the irony in that, but um, I say that Aston Martin will finish on the podium in their first season at least once. I think that package of no hybrid system and that V12 will get them to at least a podium finish. I don't think it will change anything for the team throughout most of the races. It will be one of those races where everything just clicks and they will finish on the podium. I still think they'll be towards the back of the grid throughout most of the season. But I see that as the Martin being competitive and not as far back as some may think. Of course, Aston Martin was actually set to join way earlier than they eventually did. So this is not a new car. It's a well-tested car
Yep.
and a really well done car. I think Adrian Newey worked on it as well. So it's it's people that really know how to make cars and make winning cars. So it's all about upping this Aston Martin to its full potential, and I think we'll see some of that potential, at least a very small bit of it, at least once this season.
Yeah, well, I mean, I completely agree with this. I think it's definitely possible. It's definitely a bold prediction. I mean, then again, though, this is the subject of bold predictions. So I could definitely see it happening. But I guess we'll move over into my bold prediction for the 2025 season. And this one's a little bit bold, I would say. Um, McLaren. I think McLaren are going to win the LMGT3 championship in 2025. This is a subject on the GT3 field, but I think McLaren have a very strong car heading into this season, and I think that they're going to win the championship in LMGT3. They have the 95 and the 59 cars from United Autosports. They have new drivers joining the team. You have Sean Gallel, Darren Leon, Sebastian Bowe. So, I mean, there's drivers that are very competitive, a part of that group. I think McLaren has a strong car as well. They've proven to be in contention for wins. But then again, they haven't won yet in LMGT3. I believe that's going to change. I think that kind of hints on a little bit of my prediction. But it's definitely something that's bold. But I think that McLaren could win the championship in 2025. And I genuinely think that could happen. So with that, we'll move over into another subject that isn't really in relation to the full season, but it's a subject that's in relation to one specific race, the upcoming Qatar 18-12 kilometer. Let's talk about our top three predictions for each class. David, you can go ahead and start with your LMGT3 top three, and then I'll move into my top three for the LMGT3 class, and then we'll move into the Hypercar class. Viewers, also let us know your predictions for the Qatar 18-12 kilometer in the comments below. We'd love to hear them, and yeah, David, take it away.
Well, I put a team that or car that did really well at Daytona, and I at a high speed track where the bankings really did the difference for this car. I put Proton Competition with the number 77 Ford Mustang in third place. I think that car is going to be extremely competitive because of that top speed. Um, that car is really fast at the straights. So, and Qatar being one of those tracks where top speed is really important, I see them finishing in a good position. And another year for that car. I mean, we mentioned it a lot when we talk predictions for Daytona. It's the same thing here. I think Ford has found out how to make that car fast and reliable. So yeah, Ford Mustang will finish third. In second, TF Sport. They were competitive last year. They got pole position and then they lost out a lot in the race. Um, TF Sport with that Corvette is another one of those cars that are really good at um, at pushing pushing it ahead in these top speed tracks. We saw it at Le Mans, we saw it at Daytona, and we saw it last year at Qatar. And I think they'll get a great result this time in the race instead of only in qualifying. And for first place, I'm gonna take almost a safe option if you watched the last year. Um, I'll take Porsche the Manthey number 92 car. Um, of course, they won most of the races last year, and I will see them doing something like that this year. I don't, for a fact, see McLaren doing that well this year, but that's just this one thing. So yeah, Porsche winning the GT3, and I think they'll do that multiple times this year.
I like these predictions a lot, David, especially as an American. To see two American cars in the top three, I like that a lot. First form Porsche as well, the Manthey 92 first form car. Like to see them on top. Of course, Porsche won last year, but I think that's definitely possible again. So we'll see how that works out. But David, you've predicted Porsche, Corvette, and Ford on the podium for LMGT3. For me, for the LMGT3 finishing results in the top three of the Qatar 18-12 kilometer, I've gone with the number 95 McLaren United Autosports car to win. That goes with my prediction from earlier. I've gone with the number 85 Iron Dames Porsche to finish in second. I believe this is going to be a great return for Porsche, great return for Iron Dames. As they go and secure a big result on their return with the German mark. And finally, in third, a first ever podium for a Codis ASP and the Lexus RCF GT3. The number 87 car is the one that number 78 car is the one I think that will finish in third. That's the car with 2023 IMSA GTD Pro champion Ben Barnico. That Lexus has looked really strong across the Qatar weekend so far, more so than a lot of the cars on the grid, which is extremely surprising to me. That's the biggest surprise I took from the prologue. That's the biggest surprise I've seen from practice so far. Lexus was on top, I think, in the first practice session. I believe Iron Dames are going to go into the season like they never left Porsche in the WEC. Of course, they've been super successful over in the ELMS Championship with that Porsche. They won it with that car at the 4 Hours of Imola last year. Porsche looked very strong last year here in Qatar, as David put, with the first form car finishing in first. And I believe Porsche and the Iron Dames duo, the combination, is going to work really well, and I think they're going to be on top. And just to put even more bold predictions out there, McLaren, first victory for them and United Autosports. I think it could come here at Qatar, and I think it's going to come with that number 95 car. So we'll see how it goes. But that's our top three for the LMGT3 grid. We'll move on to the top three for the Hypercar grid now. And David, give us your top three for this class, and who do you think is going to take the overall podium spots?
Well, so I mean, I talked about them before. They're gonna break the curse because it's Jota, and they're gonna finish third with the 48 car, the 38 car. Jota is just a great team, so of course they're gonna finish third. In second place, BMW, but it's the number 20 car, the car that did the fastest lap at the prologue, I believe. It's BMW showing they have this great new car. They finally figured out how to make this car fast. And they'll do it also here at Qatar. And then in first place, the Porsche, the unlucky Porsche almost, is Porsche number five. Last year, of course, never really getting the result it wanted. The number five Porsche, the number six did great. So I hope to see them win. Also a bit of Danish biased, but it wouldn't be one of my predictions without that, Michael Christensen in that number five. Uh, but um, but yeah, that's my predictions. I see honestly a a podium where it will change throughout the race, because again, so many different cars that can win this race. But Jota are gonna break that curse right off the bat, and BMW and Porsche are gonna fight like Daytona never ended. So it's gonna be like that, Jonah.
Well, I definitely could see this happening. You know, Porsche won last year, and I think that they're also going to be competitive this year. You predict not the number six car, but the number five car to win. That's the car with, of course, Michael Christensen, as you mentioned. But it also has two drivers that have never competed in that car before, but are super quick. Julian Andlauer, who's been in that Proton competition Porsche for quite some time, and Mathieu Jaminet. Jaminet has been one of the standout drivers in IMSA. And he's also raced at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in that number 4 Porsche, as well as the number 75 car when it was known as the 75 car in 2023. But Jaminet, Julian Andlauer, and Michael Christensen, what a lineup that is for the 5 car. And I think that they could definitely succeed. So I like that a lot. So I'm going to move on to my top 3 for the hypercar class now. I think that I think it could be bold, but I think it also could be somewhat realistic. You know, I mean, we'll see. So here's my predictions. I've predicted the number 51 Ferrari AF Corsa to win the Qatar 1812 kilometer. I've predicted Cadillac to finish in second with the number 38 Hertz Team Jota Porsche, the car that David you also put on your podium here. And finally, to round off the podium, it's the car that won last year, the number 6 Porsche Penske Motorsport entry. I believe Ferrari are going to be strong. I think that they have a car that's proven that it can outlast a lot of its rivals. I believe that the 51 car deserves a win. The last victory it got was at Le Mans, the last and only victory so far, back in 2023. They got close to winning in Bahrain, but of course that car didn't have the finishing result it really wanted. I mean, it finished in second, but had that penalty which dropped it off the podium. But I think that the 51 car could win finally, and I think that they're going to start the year off strong. Cadillac, I think they're going to start the year off strong as well with Hertz Team Jota. You have that 38 car. David, you also put them on the podium as well. The 38 car, in my opinion, has the best driver lineup on the entire grid. And that's saying a lot. That's a bold prediction, I guess, but
Yeah, it
I
is.
believe it is the best driver lineup. The drivers in that car, Sebastian Bourdais, F1 and IndyCar superstar, has raced in endurance racing for quite some time, raced with Pescarolo, with Peugeot, with Cadillac over in IMSA. He's got experience. Earl Bamber, who has won Le Mans overall in 2015, of course, has won Spa, has won Nürburgring. He's won so many events, has raced that Cadillac in IMSA and the WEC. And finally, F1 2009 Formula One world champion. I said F1 twice, but who cares? Jenson Button. He is a standout driver. He's been a part of Hertz Team Jota in the Porsche lineup in 2024. And I believe that he's going to be bringing a lot of his talent into this grid. So those three drivers combined, I think, provides the best lineup on the grid. That's my prediction, or at least that's my thoughts. But yeah, I think that Ferrari, Cadillac, and Porsche will be the top 3 manufacturers at Qatar. But I do believe that Toyota and BMW are going to be a lot stronger. Last year in 2024, Toyota arguably had their worst race of the season in the hypercar class. Qatar was not their event. Obviously, it was impacted by the BOP. They had the heaviest car on the grid. They had the least powerful car on the grid as well. This year, they have a little bit of a better BOP, so that's good, at least for the Toyota fans out there. For myself as well, who is a Toyota fan, I would love to see them do well. I think that they're going to be fighting for the podium and potentially the win as well. But I believe that they're just going to miss out just that tiny bit. BMW as well. You predicted them to finish in second. I think they have a strong car. 15 and the 20 could easily end up on the podium, if not one, maybe even both. But yeah, we'll see. So those are our hypercar predictions for the WEC 2025 Qatar 1812 kilometer. David, you've predicted Porsche to win. I've predicted Ferrari to win. Over in LMGT3, you predicted Porsche to win as well, and I've predicted McLaren to win, which I feel is probably a too bold of a prediction. But hey, I mean, it could happen. So
So it wouldn't be one of your predictions if there weren't at least one bold predictions in the race results. So
true
Jonah,
that.
just stick into normal, and it's great.
At least it's not the Glickenhaus to finish on the podium of the Nürburgring 24,
Yeah,
like
oh
I
my God,
predicted.
that was great.
That was
Yeah, that
back
was
in
really great.
2024.
That was really, really great. I mean, we never know. It was the most of the race was cut out, so it could have happened. But yeah, I think that was probably the boldest predictions you have ever made. But
I'll take that.
but yeah, that's a win.
It is. Yeah, I would love to. I would loved it to happen, but yeah, of course it didn't. But yeah. So those are our predictions for the entire WEC season. A lot to unpack, of course. The Qatar 1812 kilometer is coming up next, viewers. It is going to be happening at 2:00 p.m. local time on Friday. Remember, Friday, not a weekend. The February 28th of 2024. Or 2025. That's the last date of the month of February. And the race will kick off an absolutely fantastic WEC season. I have no doubt about it. It's going to be arguably the best season we've ever experienced in the World Endurance Championship. Obviously, there's a lot to look forward to. As we explained, we covered our season preview, we covered the Qatar 1812 kilometer, and of course, we covered our predictions. That was the main segment. Also, I will be trying to take our predictions and turn it into a video as well. So if you want kind of a highlight of what we talked about, look out for that video coming later as well. There's also a race preview for the Qatar 1812 kilometer. Sorry for the camera shake. That's coming in just a little bit, hopefully today if I can finish that up. But again, I don't really know exactly when that's coming out. So yeah, I think, David, that pretty much concludes things in terms of what we had in mind here. Is there anything you wanted to point out before we kind of end our stream here?
No, just thanks for the support once again. I mean, last time me and Jonah has been going on and on about this. Not on social media actually, but just talking between chatting and talking that the Daytona stream, the live stream, the viewers are crazy. The views numbers are crazy, and you're still supporting these kind of streams and the watch alongs. We know they're gonna come back, not for Qatar, but maybe another race in the future. We're gonna do them. Um, but but yeah, just thank you for the support. I mean, I've just been blown away by the start of 2025, and I'm looking forward to the rest of it. And a great comment section today, a lot of great views and fun. So yeah, just great time, and I'm sure the weekend and the race on Friday is going to be really, really good.
For sure. Yeah, there's definitely a lot to look forward to. And I completely agree with you, David. I mean, the Daytona streams that we had, I think, reached over 70,000 views collectively, which is insane. It's absolutely amazing. And like David mentioned, we will be back for another watch along later on in the season. We wanted to try and do them for every single race, but sometimes there are things that come up. Qatar, I was planning on doing a live stream. I was planning on staying up past midnight and doing one, but 3 a.m. is a little bit too much for me. However, we will be live streaming for the Qatar 1812 kilometer, just not with us in it. There's going to be a starting grid preview, I guess, for the race that will come out an hour or two before the event gets underway. We'll be live streaming on the channel up until the event with that. And hopefully we'll be back doing watch-alongs for the 12 Hours of Sebring in March once the IMSA season returns for the second biggest endurance race of that season. But yeah, that pretty much concludes everything, I think. David, thank you so much for joining me once again from this live stream chat that we have here. Thank you all so much for joining as well. The support, as David mentioned, has been absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for everything that you are doing. The comments, the likes, the subscribers. If you're subscribing to the channel, that helps. Everything helps. Anything really does. It just helps us to continue to grow and produce more content. That's what we like to do. We like to cover what we like to do, which is endurance racing. But anyway, thank you all so much. Remember, the racing is happening on Friday, February 28th. The Qatar 1812 kilometer will kick off at 2 o'clock p.m. local time. But for now, for myself and David,